Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host today, Scott Friedman, and today, once again, we're going to be breaking new ground in the form of acknowledging negative thoughts that are so pervasive, so familiar that it's hard to recognize them. It's hard to notice them. They're so much part of the landscape. And and I wouldn't have even come upon this if I weren't in my meditation this morning, where I was like just listening to what God, my higher self, the universe, the being, whatever title you want to give, uh, that generates awareness of thoughts in my mind uh, was active. And the thought that came up was uh, that I've been denying is that this isn't working for me. I have this thought that the I'm not accepting the magnificence and the worth and the wealth and the happiness and the ease and the joy and the peace and the well-being that is really mine at a level that is satisfactory to me. And uh, and so it's a matter of understanding that that thought exists, right? That this isn't working. I'm not bringing in the money I feel I should be bringing. I'm not having the resonance in the world. I'm not. I'm offering the world these solutions, and it's like, and they're not like leading a path to my door the way one would think if you were providing inspiring examples of how to accept the power of your mind and direct that power. I mean, you'd think the whole world would be wanting to know, like, okay, let's do this, right? But not so much. And so and it's because of that denying that thought that this isn't working for me, that being progressively more honest, which is the key idea, right? That's takes you forward through every perspective. That being more honest and accepting of myself, isn't working, and in fact, I mean, it is working, but that thought that it's not is really prevalent, and so it's important at this juncture, at least in what I'm getting in my meditation, is to acknowledge the existence of that thought as well as acknowledging the fact that it's not true. I mean, I still have, uh, you know, years worth of cash reserves, available, in my accounts, and and I've got perfect credit, and I've got friends, and I'm not, I don't have any, crazy debt of any kind. I mean, the only debt is on my mortgage, really, and that's tiny. So. Uh, there's no reason to say that this isn't working for me. I mean, I'm reaching more people. I'm um, accepting myself more fully. I'm continuing to have insights. I mean, it's just not true that this isn't working for me, and it would work for me better without that thought. And so I'm gonna just acknowledge that that thought, incorrect as it is there, and it can be there, and that's fine and stuff. But I'm no longer going to deny its existence. I'm gonna accept that that thought says that things just aren't working out for me when there's no evidence of that at all. I mean, it's just so obviously, clearly a false statement. But boy, I'm telling you that thought is prevalent in my mind, and so that's another example of how by meditating in the morning every morning, and saying, what do I need to hear, what do I need to know to move forward in my own growth and development, that you can get to uh, making progress that I'm not more efficiently than you could uh, in a lot of other ways, right? I mean, it's like I have worked through things by just sheer dogged persistence. I'm just gonna keep going, and and that works, but it's bloody and it's slow and it's aggravating and it's not really my favorite way to do things. but, but it does work, just dogged persistence. And but given all that, I prefer to, and I've said, that it's my will. I've claimed that as my will, that I want to make my learning and my growth and my development and my acceptance of myself as smooth and efficient and as enjoyable as I can, and as I can possibly manage. And so that is the direction I've given my will to direct my mind. And so uh, and doing this morning meditation really is making things easier. I mean, so many people like that I interview on my podcast and stuff have had these horrible, horrible, horrible experiences. I mean, disastrous childhoods and just full of abuse and living on the streets and God, one terrible thing after another, and then they've overcome it, and so then they realize their strength in overcoming those things. It's like, well, I want to realize my strength without having disaster strike in my life. you know, I mean, my father one time he told me, he said the disadvantaged are the advantaged, and I mean what he was thinking about was is that that they had the experience of overcoming difficulties and stuff, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I mean, I can overcome challenges without them, uh, without being hospitalized or in horrible traffic accidents or uh, I've kind of gone broke once or twice, um, but I never declared bankruptcy or, I mean, it was like it got resolved before it became, a matter of public record that would take years to work through, right? I mean, I basically cleaned it all up in a week once I had the clarity and the energy, to do that. Um, so I really haven't had, my parents did get divorced when I was a kid. I mean, they fought, but they didn't get divorced. You know what I mean? And I mean, and they didn't fight verbally or anything. They didn't fight like physically. They just verbally they fought. But I mean, so it wasn't like, the worst thing in the world. And yeah, I mean, every family could be better, but it wasn't. I mean, when I compare it against these horrific stories I hear from other people, it's like tiny in comparison. So anyway, I'm doing my best to make my growth, smooth and enjoyable and stuff, and to not settle for uh, anything less than the best that I can be. And even though, my life is great, um, it could be greater, and I want the greater. So, that's where it is, and that's how I'm going about it. And so it's not a matter of um, anything other than being more honest with ourselves about our potential. Because I mean, that's one thing that as an act of will, that I've maintained for a long time is that I want to achieve as much of my potential as I can consciously. And so I continue to learn and continue to grow, and it's still new and exciting, and I'm still, having successes and failures along the way, and learning. And so then that's what I've willed for my life. That's the choice that I've made. And so that's that. But today it's like, okay, I'm just gonna be aware of when that thought that, this isn't working for me. When that thought comes up, I'm just gonna be aware of it. And I go, "Oh, there's that incorrect thought again. Okay, you could be there, incorrect thought," and go on. So anyway, that's if you're gonna take one thing that I had to share that I would believe would be the most beneficial is that the answer to every problem is to be more honest with ourselves. And that includes being more honest about what we're thinking and whether or not the thoughts that we're having are true or not. And that'll move you forward. It's moved me forward at least through all kinds of different perspectives and stuff as I progress in this lifetime and so on. And so it's really. It's been good. So, right, that's what today's all about is me um, sharing how I'm using my morning meditation to uncover thoughts that were limiting my progress by being denied. Negative thoughts that were limiting my progress by being denied, and and how, being an example of how accepting those thoughts as well as the fact that it's not true is, I mean, I can feel like a greater relief in my body just acknowledging the existence of that thought and that it's not true. Uh, and so it's in that respect, and it's true, my life has gotten better as a result of meditating this morning and listening to what comes up in meditation. Anyway, I offer thought coaching to help you uncover those thoughts because believe me, we have unlimited power to create our life and our world. And that the way we do that is to be more accepting of what's true. And what facilitates that is being aware of our thoughts. And I can certainly, without a doubt, help you with that. So I offer coaching. If that's something that's of interest to you, you can contact me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com, SCOTTFRIEDMAN40@gmail.com. My books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. Okay, continue to enrich your life by being more honest with yourself about what's true. It's magic.